and one of the best of them, certainly in the musical sphere, is Music Haven, and we have Mandy Jackson, the executive director. Hi, Mandy.
Hi, Alan. Thank you so much for having us.
Our great pleasure, and she has brought along Mayel Davenport, our cellist, who is going to, uh, 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 by all appearances, play the cello here shortly. But first, let's hear a little bit, Mandy, about um, um, Music Haven. When did you become the executive director? Have I missed you in that position? And tell me about um, where you're located and all the things that you're doing, and if there's any special initiative going on right
Well, Alan, I've been the executive director at Music Haven for 4 years now. This is my fourth year.
now. Oh, good.
And
Okay.
Music Haven is located in Erector Square on Peck Street in the Fairhaven neighborhood of New Haven. And we've been there for the last year and a half or so in a brand new space where we have practice rooms and musician studios and rehearsal rooms and
Right.
classrooms and a performance space. It's been a wonderful new development for us over the last few years.
And where was the headquarters and learning taking place before Erector Square?
Before we moved to our new location, we had a small space, an office on Whaley Avenue, and most of our programming actually took place in different school buildings. And
Right.
so, with our move, we're able to bring all of our kids together, around 80 students who come after school for one-on-one music lessons, in one-on-one lessons in violin, viola, and cello, group classes, ensembles, music theory classes, music history classes. It's quite an extraordinary thing to see and hear every day after school.
And it's just those three instruments?
We
Violin,
also
viola.
have a student who's playing bass, but yes, it's all string instruments. And our teaching faculty is a professional string quartet called the Haven String Quartet.
That's right.
And
That's right.
each of these professional musicians is a full time on our team at Music Haven, and they rehearse as a quartet in the mornings. And in the afternoons, each of them teaches and mentors a studio of between 15 and 20 students, and gets to know them over the course of many, many years. So Mael here is in her third year at Music Haven, and that whole time has been working with the same teacher. And many of our students, when they graduate, have been working with their teachers for upwards of 10 years.
Is that unusual for to have that kind of? It almost sounds like an apprentice relationship or a long-standing relationship in a music school. That sounds quite wonderful.
It is. It's quite unusual, especially in a nonprofit that provides 100% free programming for students from low-income neighborhoods.
Mm.
It's not unlike what probably many young musicians who come from more affluence experience with their own personal teachers,
Right.
studying with the same teacher over many years. But it's something that for our kids at Music Haven, they wouldn't otherwise have the chance to do.
And I have, as you were describing the kids and the instruments, I have for some reason I have a memory flash of a truck with three violinists in it driving into Scantlebury Park for a performance. I'm not quite sure what the occasion was, but it was really wonderful. It was like the violin truck.
Yeah, it was actually the string quartet truck.
The
That's
string
something
quartet
that.
truck.
So in fact, there were four musicians on the truck. You might not have seen the cellist. He was probably sitting down.
Right.
That's Mael's teacher, actually,
Ah.
Mr. Phillip.
Oh.
Yeah, the string quartet truck was something that we had for many years through Arts and Ideas. We don't. Music Haven doesn't have a truck.
Okay.
The truck was something that the Festival of Arts and Ideas had arranged for us, and we
Right.
put our musicians on it.
Right.
It's something I think we'd love to do again in the future.
Right.
But we don't have our own flatbed truck, so
That's-
we'd need some help with that.
That's okay.
But our quartet does play throughout the city, throughout the region, a lot of free concerts in the community, and does concerts and workshops throughout the region.
Okay, so let the word go out. The Music Haven does not need a truck, but they do need your support for all the wonderful activities with students and teachers and violins and violas, and you can do that by going to thegreatgive.org, and then you go down the list to Music Haven. Is that what we do?
Yeah, look for
Right.
Music Haven.
Right. Look for Music Haven.
There's only one.
There's only one. Begins with M. That's wonderful. So, Mayel, before you play, um, tell us about why you chose the cello. I'm curious. There's so many instruments. It's actually one of my favorites. What draws you to the cello, and what's your favorite aspect of it?
When I was little, playing on the playground at school, my mom came up to me and she had like one question. She said, "Do you want to play the violin, viola, or cello?" And I just picked cello because I didn't know what it was. And when I started it, I knew I was going to be good at it because it was so fun and I thought I was the best one there. 'Cause you probably think that you're always the best one. And it was a really nice sound. And when I play it, I feel really like happy.
Ah, you feel happy when you play the cello. Yeah, there is something about the sound that calms me down. Uh, the violin excites me, but the cello relaxes me for some reason. I don't know. Do you feel that same way?
Yes.
Okay, so Mandy, shall Mael play something, or do you want to tell us a little bit about any new initiatives of Music Haven going on this year, or what's on your wish list perhaps for years to come?
Well, Music Haven provides free one-on-one lessons and all sorts of other programming after school for around 80 kids. And our greatest need is just support for our ongoing operations in order to sustain the programming that we have. And that's really what we're focused on. We're focused on providing the one-on-one mentorship and lessons for each one of our students, which is a really unique thing, but requires significant resources to provide.
Right,
And
80 students is a lot of students.
it's a lot of kids. They're
Right.
not usually all there at the same time, but on
Right.
Fridays we do have most of them there.
Right.
And we have our group classes then, and it's kind of like a big party. Wouldn't you say, Mael? Kind of like a big party on Fridays?
Yeah.
Yeah. What's your favorite part about Fridays? Playing.
So, Mael and Mandy, is performance? How do performances fit into the learning experience? Do you study a piece to build up to performing it, Mael, or how does that work?
Yeah, when you're in your lesson, you work on one song, and once you get it, you move on to the next song. But if we have like juries or concerts, you get to play that song
Mm.
or another song you've been working on.
Do
Okay,
you want to explain what juries are?
jury
Oh,
is like the legal jury, music
It's not
jury.
legal. It's a music jury. You want to say what it is?
It's where all the teachers are lined up in this room, and you go in. One student goes in one by one. We have time and stuff, and you play a song,
Uh-huh.
and they don't tell you how you did. For the younger kids, they're like, "Good job," but for the older kids, you just walk out feeling like, "What? How did I do?" And you can't get scared because it's a jury. You can't mess up, and they write it on the computers, and they like share how you did.
So the teacher will meet with you afterwards and tell you all about how you did, right? Yeah.
Mm. All right, so Mael, maybe play something for us and introduce it, tell us what it is, and we're looking forward to listening to it as we all listen on thegreatgive.org here. And as you listen, you can go to thegreatgive.org and dial down to Music Haven.
You want to tell us what you're going to play, Mael?
I'm gonna play Say Song. It's about like shifting.
Shifting on your cello. Okay.
Shifting the bow or your fingers or both?
Your fingers.
Your fingers. Okay. Wow, thank you very much. You know, I notice you have very pretty long fingers. Is that important for a cellist?
Not so much because Mr. Phillip,
Your
he's a
t-
great cello player.
He's your teacher.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
he's a great cello player, in my opinion.
Uh-huh.
And he has really short fingers,
Huh.
and I think it's not that much because since he has short fingers and he plays like really really good, I think you don't need long fingers or short fingers to play the cello.
Right, right. So, Mandy, tell me a little bit about the origin of Music Haven. Am I mistaken in thinking that it was begun by Yale musicians a number of years ago, or do I have it wrong?
Well, a musician named Tina Lee Hadari started Music
That's right.
Haven with the idea of having a different way to be a classical musician and a different way to be a string quartet, which for that original quartet was about playing in the community and teaching in the community while also being performing professional musicians. And that was sort of the origin of it. And when the program started back in 2006,
2006, right?
the first students were enrolled in 2007. It was just a little over a dozen kids at one school, and we've grown to be much larger, serving kids from more than 20 New Haven schools, and like I said, close to 80 students.
And it's all New Haven kids?
Yes, the only requirement for being in Music Haven, there's no audition. Students simply have to live in a Promise Zone neighborhood of New Haven.
In a promise zone.
Yeah.
Right,
So it's based on where they live.
right. And what's the relationship, if any, between uh, the musical training available, let's say, in the New Haven public schools? I know we have Music Haven, we have Neighborhood Music School. It's wonderful organizations. But in my own reporting in New Haven, uh, are there bands and I mean, is the kind of thing that Mael is learning at Music Haven available in the New Haven public schools in the music departments? Does that exist?
No, not really. No, I should say New Haven has a wonderful, wonderful arts programming in the schools,
Right.
and a lot of music programming. But there are very few schools that offer strings instruction, and there are no, as far as I know, public school music programs where students can get for free
Right.
out one-on-one lessons with professional musicians.
Yeah.
The one-on-one instruction is something that's very hard to access unless you can
Unless
pay
you
a lot
can-
of money for it.
Unless you can afford it, right?
Yeah, and so that's sort of the key distinction between what's available in the schools and what we're able to provide. There are a lot there. New Haven has a lot some pretty amazing band and concert band programming.
Right.
There are some schools that do have strings, but not many, and certainly none where students can get those one-on-one lessons.
So is the idea as more support comes into Music Haven, especially we hope through thegreatgive.org here on WNHH 103.5 FM, you can go down the list and support Music Haven. Is the idea has thought been given to expanding instruments, or is it going to stay close to the strings that are the origins of Music Haven?
Well, we're pretty committed to sticking with our model of a program based around a string quartet. And the chamber music model is really important to us, not just in terms of the instruments that the musicians are teaching and the students are playing, but sort of the idea of the way a string quartet, the members of a string quartet have to listen to each other. It's about the teamwork. It's about sort of the communication that happens between members of a quartet. And we're really committed to the model of each of our students having that one-on-one teaching and mentoring relationship with their teachers. And so the scale of our program is really important to us. We don't intend for it to get much bigger because
Right.
at the size that it is, we, our staff, our teachers, our musicians know each and every one of the students and each of their families. Like, for example, Mael, her little brother, who's not a Music Haven student yet because he's not old enough, but he spends a lot of time at Music Haven. Everybody knows him when he comes in, right? He has hugs for everybody. Yeah. So we know all of our families, and we're able to, by keeping the scale where it's at, able to help with lots of different things. For example, as our students have gotten older over the years, because when we started, we had all tiny people. Last year, we had our first cohort of graduates, and 100% of them are now at four-year colleges. And we were able to help them with everything from writing college essays to college visits to for those who wanted to pursue music, helping them prepare for auditions. And so by keeping the scale of our programming where it is, we're able to really provide the depth of programming and the support that all of our students and families need to be successful.
So you've answered the question that I was carefully preparing by saying it's Music Haven does work that's about a lot more than music.
Yeah, Although music is at the center of it, we wind up doing a lot of things that sort of stretch beyond the music itself. When kids come to us after school, they're pretty hungry, right, Mayo? Yeah, they're hungry and they're sometimes stressed out. What's something you do on Fridays before you go to your group class?
I talk to my friends and we play games.
You ever do yoga?
Yes.
You do
and-
yoga too.
Yeah, and I think it was last Friday we did this drumming.
Drumming and dancing. We had a drumming workshop. Yeah, we're able to provide all of our students on Fridays with the opportunity to do yoga to help them relax and focus. And that's actually thanks to another organization that's participating in the Great Give. So I'm going to give a shout out to 108 Monkeys.
Peg Oliveira.
Yes.
100. Yes.
And
yes.
so they've been very generous with their time providing volunteers to teach yoga
Yes,
to our
right.
kids. They're right around the corner from us at Erector
Yeah,
Square.
the Rector Square. That's
and so
right.
it's a wonderful collaboration that we
Right.
have. So everybody should support 108 Monkeys as well.
All right, on thegreatgive.org, support Music Haven. And how many monkeys?
8.
108. Yeah, Peg was here for one of the Great Gives, and I was asking her, I think, why 108 as opposed to 107 or 109, but I'm not sure what she said. So, Mayel, you when you come for classes, what do you do with homework? Are there rules if you have homework? Are there rules about doing the homework first before you play or practice or hang out with your friends? What's that like?
Yes, we have to do homework before we play games and talk to our friends.
And you do is there like a homework area, like a little study hall that's devoted just to being quiet and doing homework?
No.
Well, that was the idea. We have a student lounge area where
right.
where kids sit to do their homework, but there's also often some puzzles and games happening in the same area.
Mm.
We have a wonderful person on our staff who helps with homework, Miss Karina, right?
Mm.
She's a great homework helper, and we also have volunteer coming in to do SAT prep work with some of our older students.
So you talked about little people and now people who are in college. So what's the age range of students? Or you begin with people and you just don't ever want to let them go?
We never want to let them go. Very few of them leave until they graduate. Our youngest students are about 6 years old, and our students stay with us right through high school graduation. So 6 to 18.
6 to 18.
So I would say Mayel's age group is probably one of our largest age groups. We have a lot of 10, 11, 12-year-olds right now.
Mm.
But we have everything from first or second grade through senior in high school.
And the kids just stick with you, and the learning grows as they get older.
Absolutely. And once a student is in our program, if they happen to move outside of one of the Promise Zone neighborhoods, we don't kick them out. We stick with them as long as they can get to us. We make a long-term commitment to the kids that we serve. So, we have about a 90% year-to-year retention rate. So, it's worked out well so far. We've been able to see a lot of kids grow up from when they were quite little. Actually, Mayel, you were quite little 3 years ago when you started with us. You're quite a bit bigger now. So as
Mayel is smiling. That's the visual at the moment.
We start them on tiny instruments, and they come back after the school breaks, and we have to switch them for bigger instruments.
So, are there openings now, or is your 80 students the max at Music Haven?
Yeah, we are at our full capacity when we're at 75 to 80 students, and I say 75 to 80 because one of the limitations is the amount of time in the after-school hours, and our youngest students have about half-hour lessons. But their teachers, our oldest, most advanced students have hour-long lessons.
Mm.
And so the number of actual slots we have is sometimes connected to how many of our students are using those longer slots. But we have a waiting list. We always have a waiting list.
Oh.
We don't have a lot of slots that open up each year because our students tend to stick with us.
Right.
But every year we do bring in a handful of new students depending on the size of our outgoing class. This year it happens to be a small class. We have 3 students graduating.
Oh.
Which is very small. Last year's was much bigger. But we do that sort of calculation at the end of the year after all the student programming is done. We sit down and look at our schedule and see, how many more can we take, and that's how we usually do it.
So you've got all these wonderful statistics and stories, kids going to college. can you shed any light on this idea that has been told to me many, many times, that there is a connection between music and mathematics? That kids who are interested in music and are good in music are often very good in math. Mael, is that something that you find true, or does the music help your math, or the math help your music in terms of understanding and learning?
Sometimes because I'm really good at math.
Oh, you really are good. You were good at math even before music?
Yeah.
Uh huh.
And sometimes you have to do a whole bunch of beats in music, and you have time measures and stuff, and you have to really count the beats. So math really helps music.
Ah.
So reading rhythm is a lot like doing fractions, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rhythm, like a half beat or what does it mean to read rhythm? To read the music,
Um,
or to understand or to hear it?
because when you have this music, a lot of notes are different. Like some are quarter, which equals 1 beat.
Mm-hmm.
Some are half, which equals 2, and some are wholes, which equal 4. And then there's a lot of other different notes. But when you first start, you usually learn quarters.
So all the kids learn to read music.
Yes. We have a music theory class that
Ah.
all of our students take, particularly all of our younger students. And I think we have 3 different music theory classes right now, 3 different groups. So each week on Fridays when they come to us for their group classes, they have music theory, a music history class that we call time travel.
Oh.
And yeah, and Mael's in time travel. Yeah, you want to talk about time travel?
Oh, I want to sign up. I love music history. So
Oh.
tell me a little bit about where you time traveled to musically recently.
When we do time travel, we go back into history of famous music, like composers like Bach, Leonardo da Vinci, and a lot of famous like composers.
Mm-hmm.
And you go to different places, right? What are some of the places you went to?
Mary Wade.
Oh yeah, actual physical places. I was thinking you talked about Italy and
Oh,
Germany, yeah. But Mael's group has also played. They played a concert recently at Mary Wade.
At the Mary Wade
Yeah.
home, yeah. Yeah, that must have been wonderful.
They had a big crowd, right?
yeah.
One of your biggest audiences ever. They were very appreciative. It was a wonderful experience for all of us.
So Mael, how many people? How big was the ensemble? Was it?
How many people are in your music?
It's about like 9 or 10.
Do you like performance? Do you like playing in front of an audience as opposed to just playing with your teachers or in front of a jury?
Yes, but I get very
You get very what?
scared.
Oh, that's a surprise to me because you strike me as a very confident young person. Well, that's okay. We're talking to Mael Davenport, a wonderful 10-year-old cellist at Music Haven, and with Mandy Jackson, the organization's executive director, here on thegreatgive.org on WNHH 103.5. And it's getting to be towards 3:30. Go online to thegreatgive.org and support Music Haven, support 108 Monkeys, and any of the organizations in New Haven of your choice. Have we forgotten to mention anything important, Mandy?
No, I think we've said just about everything. I think I would just say it's really important for all kids to have the opportunity to play music and to do the arts, and it's something that's not accessible to all kids. And so Music Haven's mission is about not just providing that access, but making sure the programming that our kids have access to is of the highest quality, and that one-on-one instruction, them being able to study an instrument over many years with an excellent teacher is something that most kids actually don't have the chance to do. And really, we want to make sure that more of them do. And you can see the results with students like Mael. So.
Yes, yeah. Do we have any other music, or is there another piece that you can play and as we end our conversation, Mael? No?
No?
All right. Well, you'll just have to go to the next Music Haven concert at Mary Wade or wherever around town, or what is an event coming up, Mandy?
Yes, we have our end of year performance party, and it's on Thursday, May 30th
All right.
at 6 p.m. at John C. Daniels School, and all of our students will be performing music from around the world.
Be there.
Be there.
Thank you so much, Mandy, and thank you so much, Mael, here on thegreatgive.org. And we'll take a break now and come back a little later. Thank you again for joining us.
Thank you so much, Alan.
This is Harry Grove, and you're listening to WNHHLP 103.5 FM New Haven.